was honest about, being the fact that he did relapse a couple of times, but he was okay with that. He was okay with not being perfect, which really struck me as, somebody who's, as a Christian bubble type of thing. We always want to be perfect. We always feel like we're better than other people. We always feel like, we are allowed to, because of our position or our title, to look down on the marginalized, look down on the homeless, look down on the cast off of society. And here is the cast off of society who was okay with not being perfect, who was okay with the fact that he had relapsed. He didn't still count himself as a failure. He still wanted to go forward, still move on, and still better himself.
She was at work, obviously, and it was just really cool because even though the kids, the older kids, RC and Megan were older, they were what we consider adults. They still knew the importance of family. They still understood what it meant, to take care of their younger brother and their younger sister. And it was really cool because it's like, in that atmosphere, they made time to stick together. When families come in there and they stick together, they seem to make it okay, and they do a lot better. And it just kind of was really cool that they were able to do that. It's kind of cool that he does. He makes the best of his circumstances. He could easily just be like, obviously, look where we are, and just give up. But he's not. None of them are giving up. They're still fighting. They're still striving. They're taking what they have and they're making the best of it. And just honestly, I think we can learn from that a lot. So.
And my grandfather actually bought a house and rented it out to my parents I was about 7 years old.
Very cool. How do you think, seeing your story and theirs, how do you think, or how did this all affect you?
It's just, I have become ever more thankful for how much people care about me.
Any more questions, Jackie?
Any more questions, Kevin?
No.
Any more questions?
What's something maybe you just want to share in general? Just anything. If you could say anything to anybody about our experience, what would it be?
Just don't stereotype. Just get to know these people and take time to hear their stories. Take time to hear how they got there and hear, their hearts. And it's just, I don't know, it's so different. And I think we need to take that time and just care and love these people.
What is this trip? What is that experience today? How has that changed your view of the world? And if so, how? And if not, why not?
Well, man, the world, everyone's perspective of the world is constantly changing. It needs to change. You can't really just be some sort of person who views with a singular lens of a world built on different perspectives, or else you will never really be able to understand other people or what they go through, or just all the stuff that does go on in general in the world.
But our goal at Cornerstone is not just to help a family find another place to live, but our goal is to help these families work through maybe some of the other issues that might have contributed to them becoming homeless or might be holding them back. Because unless they're dealing with some of these other things, they could very well end up homeless with us or in another shelter in 6 months to a year. And we've seen that happen. And so when we're approached with these families, well, first of all, every family gets what we call a sponsor. Sponsors are term for case manager, caseworker. Well, the sponsor can kind of look at things objectively and say, look, you're in this situation, let's try this program. You're in this other situation, let's do A, B, and C, and let's see where it gets us. We also have classes that we require folks to attend unless they're working or in job training or other programs. Classes in life skills. Life skills, just daily living skills, things that many of us take for granted. Classes in parenting. Computer classes. We have a small computer lab. And we'll teach people just basic computer skills and how to do a job search, how to put together a resume, that sort of thing. We have mental health workers that come in and do mental health assessments as well as individual and group counseling. Nurse practitioners that come in on site and hold a clinic weekly. We have a job assessment person, a housing assessment person, all these sorts of things to help support the families. First of all, most shelters for families do not accept two-parent families. When a two-parent family becomes homeless, typically they're split up. And the husband or father of the children is sent to a men's shelter, and the women and children are sent to a women and children's facility, such as we have on the second floor here. Now, we believe that unless there's issues of domestic violence, families belong together. They have greater success in getting out of homelessness and staying out of homelessness if they can stay together. And so, in this building in the back, we actually have 2 rooms set aside for intact families. In our facility across the street, we have, on the 3rd floor, 20 rooms that will not only accommodate 2-parent families, but single fathers with children. Actually, Cornerstone is one of only 2 shelters in the city of Chicago that will accept 2 single fathers with children. Also, most shelters don't take families with boys over the age of 12. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, they don't want the remote possibility of gang activity brought in their midst, and secondly, they just don't have accommodations. Like I was saying, upstairs on this floor, we have single moms with young children. Now, it's a large open dorm with bunk beds. Now, you can't very well take a family with, say, an 18-year-old mom with 3 kids, or a family with a daughter who is 14, 15, 16-year-old, and put them in a bed next to a family of 15, 16, 17-year-old boy. Not going to work. And so the families are told, you got to find somewhere for your son to go. He's got to go live with a family member or go live with a friend. And so when we're approached with these different families, we try to put these families in rooms of their own. And by doing so, not only keeping the family together, but hopefully promoting greater accountability between the parent and the child. So that pretty much outlines our family programs here. We also have a program for single women on the 2nd floor of the other building there, and where we have about 85 single women without children that we house and have very similar programs with them as we do with the families. Under the women's program, but actually in a different location, we have 25 beds for some single men, mostly who are elderly or in fragile health. Now, besides that, we also have programs with food. First of all, we serve 3 meals a day to all the residents here. And I don't know, usually lunchtime on a school day, I mean, we might serve 100 or 125. Altogether, between all of our programs, we have over 300 people in residence here, between this building and the building across the street. Besides the 3 meals a day that we serve to the residents here, we also have a weekly food pantry on Wednesdays mornings, and this is not for homeless people, because mostly the food that we pass out there is food that needs to be prepared. So these are groceries. You know, you can't give a homeless guy living on the street a box of macaroni and cheese. It gets a little crunchy. Can't give him any ramen either.